Welcome. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a Paradise Energy Solutions solar proposal. This will give you a good idea of the key components that are inside a solar proposal. It'll help you when you're reviewing solar for yourself or for your business, or even if you're comparing proposals from one solar installer to another. This is the cover page of Paradise Energy Solutions solar proposal, which typically has the customer's name and address on the cover, as well as company information, the solar consultant contact information, and the size of the system in usually kW or in megawatts. This is a 183 kW roof mount system for a poultry farm that we're going to be going through in this proposal. On the first page, the second page over here, in the top section, we have the specifications of the project. The system size is 183 kW. It's made up of 555 solar panels or solar modules. These are Axitec panels, and they're 330 watts each. And so the way we get the 183 kW system is we multiply the 555 panels by the 330 watts, and we get 183,150 watts, or 183.15 kW. The solar panels come with a 25-year warranty. Below that, we have the inverters. There are 11 SolarEdge inverters that are 11,400 models, and 2 SolarEdge inverters that are 7,600 models. That's just the way this particular system was designed. And the inverters each come with 12-year manufacturer warranties. There is an option to pay additional money and increase the years of the warranty as well. If you want to extend the warranties, there's an option to upgrade. And the system also includes 555 SolarEdge optimizers, each with a 25-year warranty. Not all installations will be designed with these particular components. You may see installations that have panels and string inverters only. You may see some with optimizers, and you may even see microinverters as well. But the key component here is that you'll see the size of your system, each of the components included in your system, and the corresponding manufacturer warranties that come with those. Below that, we have an aerial view of the solar array. This should be an aerial view of your property with what the solar panels will look like on your property. As I mentioned, this is a poultry farm that has 3 chicken houses here, and the solar array will be on one house providing electricity for all of these houses over here. If you're looking at a residential system, your system will probably be about 1/10 the size of this system, and the costs will be substantially less as well. In the bottom left-hand corner over here, we have the energy impact. This is the projected first-year kilowatt-hour production. And at Paradise Energy Solutions, we actually guarantee the production of our systems after a final shading analysis. And we'll get more into that a little bit later on in the proposal. We're going to guarantee that this system is going to produce 231,000 kilowatt hours. They're currently using about 232,000 kilowatt hours. So as you can see, we're going to cover 100% of this electric bill, just under 100%. We're typically very conservative on these numbers, so we will, in most situations, we will exceed these expectations. This is based on a 5.4% shade calculation that we did at this site. To the right of that is the environmental impact. This size solar system will have the same environmental impact as about 181 tons of CO2 offset per year. It'll offset approximately 4,192 trees, or have the equivalent offset of 379 barrels of oil per year. So as you can see, solar is great for the planet. Moving on to the next page is the financial analysis, broken down in the top section over here, cost and incentive summary. Here's the total installed cost of the system, $362,700. Below that is the federal tax credit. It's $108,810,000, and that is based on 30% of the total purchase price. For this particular customer, that comes out to $108,000. Below that is the tax savings on depreciation. It's $88,000. This customer is going to get a Maryland state grant of $5,400, making their net costs after the incentives $160,161. If you're looking at a residential project, you probably won't have the tax savings of depreciation or the commercial state grant. Obviously, this varies by your location and your state. But for businesses and farmers, You typically can take the depreciation, and we'll show you that based on your tax bracket specifically. Below that is we're showing you a comparison over a 30-year period. If this customer chose not to go solar, over 30 years, they're going to pay $812,000 for electricity. Over that same period of time, they could go solar and pay $160,000 for that same amount of electricity. So as you can see, the average kilowatt hour cost by going solar over a 30-year period is going to be about 2.5 cents versus if they choose not to go solar, they're going to be paying an average of about 13 cents. So tremendous savings here over a long period of time. You can see solar is by far the less expensive way to go over the long term for your electric needs. Below that, we show the 1-year electric savings. This is based on the first year of electric savings from their current electric rate. So as we mentioned, we're going to guarantee the number of kilowatt hours being produced at 9.4 cents per kilowatt hour. They're going to save over $21,000 in their first year on electricity. They'll earn $1,200 or more in energy credit income, and that's based on $5.50 SRECs here in Maryland. Some markets don't have an SREC market. These fluctuate. It's not a guaranteed income, but we are relatively accurate in reflecting that over here. This particular project has a 15.5% ROI averaged over 30 years. It's a great investment. Below that, we show a little bar graph. And one of the assumptions that we're making in the solar proposal is the increase in electric rates going forward. And so we look at historical data to figure that out. We go to the United States Energy Information Administration's website, which is eia.gov. You can go look at your own particular state if you want to. And historically here in Maryland, electric rates have increased over the last decade at approximately 2% per year. And so we show that going forward in the solar proposal. If you think we are being too aggressive, you can look at a more conservative approach. If you don't think solar electric rates are going to increase at all over the next 30 years, you can see what your savings would be, $605,000. And if you thought we were being too conservative and you want to look at a more aggressive approach, if you think electric rates are going to increase at 4%, you can see the savings of what those would be under that scenario. So that is an assumption that we've made in this proposal here based on historical data that electric rates will increase in Maryland at 2% per year going forward. Moving on to the next page, at Paradise Energy Solutions, we try and include everything possible. We want to provide turnkey solar systems. And so everything that we can include in the proposal, we do. And that is included on the left-hand side and listed over here. If there are transformer upgrades, we include those. If there's 10 years of internet connection for monitoring, we'll provide that. 10 years of meter level monitoring. Roof structure engineering for additional weight load. For every roof mount project that we sell, we bring in a third-party structural engineer to give us a stamp of approval for the additional weight load on that structure. If in fact there is additional support that needs to occur to the roof, then that is what we've listed here in the not included section that we're just unaware of at the time of signing the proposal. 25 years of module level monitoring, all of the solar modules, solar panels, inverters, the optimizers, the racking, all of the permitting and the application fees is done by us. The interconnection with your utility company and the fee for that is included. And of course, all of the wiring, conduit, electrical parts, and interconnection to your existing service is included in the proposal. As I said, we try and make this as much of a turnkey solution as possible. Below that is the proposed project schedule. It takes us, for this particular project, for most projects, about 10 to 12 weeks. So this particular one, 10 to 15 weeks for us to design, develop, engineer, and permit the project. After which, on this project, it will take us about 23 days to install the project. On small residential systems, we can install your projects in as little as 2 days. And then larger projects obviously can take a few to several weeks to get installed. Below that are the payment terms and the time frame in which those are going to be paid. So please be mindful of those when you sign a solar proposal, that you can meet those commitments. Moving on to the next page, these are our terms and conditions. Really, for us, this is our in-house warranties that we offer. We call these our 1010. We're very proud of them. which includes our 10 years of system monitoring. So you will be able to monitor your system on your computer, your tablet, your phone, and we monitor it as well, and I'll explain why in just a moment. 10 years of workmanship warranty, so anything that's covered workmanship-wise will be covered for 10 years, and 10 years of a production guarantee. If your system doesn't produce what we say it will, we'll write you a check for the difference. That is the reason that we monitor it for you as well. If it goes down, we want to be proactive and make sure we get it up and running to meet those production requirements that we guaranteed to you. Obviously, it's pending final engineering review. There's some fine print over here. You want to make sure that you're working with a reputable company that carries insurance as well as you review your solar proposal. Moving on to this, included here is a 30-year cash flow analysis. This should give you a great idea of what the investment looks like, both over short and long term, which is really important with solar, and we'll go over why in just a moment. As you can see in the top left here, we have a graph that shows you where the project breaks even and what your savings looks like going forward. You can see on the top right, here's the initial purchase price of $362,700. Some assumptions that we've made: the initial price of electricity, which we took off the customer's bill, the electric inflation rates, which we talked about earlier, and the module degradation. Solar panels degrade about 0.5% a year according to the manufacturers, so we show that here in the cash flow as well. Below that are the tax brackets for this particular customer, and that's what we use for the depreciation. I'm going to jump right into the columns over here. On the left-hand side, you see we have years 1 through 30. Next to that, we have the production of the system. Again, we guarantee this at Paradise Energy Solutions, 231,000 kilowatt hours per year. You can see that will degrade a little bit each year, and that's because of the panel degradation. Next column are the Maryland SRECs, or the income that will come from the solar renewable energy credits. We have those over here. The following column are the electric savings. In year 1, the customer is going to save a little over $21,000, and that'll increase at 2% a year based on that inflation rate. The customer is going to save a little over $812,000 in electric savings alone over the 30-year period. There's a Maryland state grant of $5,400. It's a commercial grant, may not be available in your area. Here's the depreciation in the next column. Solar falls under the 5-year maker's depreciation schedule, and we've shown that here. However, with the new tax law that went into effect this year, you can take 100% depreciation, bonus depreciation in year 1 if you have that tax appetite. Federal tax credit of $108,000. This can be used all of this year. Can also be carried backwards to last year and then carried forward 20 years if you need to. Maintenance and insurance column. Over here, this is what we assume is going to cost you to insure the system, which you'll want to do. And we've added in additional costs after the workmanship warranty expires in case you have inverters or other issues that occur outside of the warranty. We're just giving you a more conservative approach and look here. Your taxes, this tax is based on the Maryland State Grant. Next column is the yearly cash flow. And so you can see everything in green is coming back to the customer. In year 1, the customer is going to lay out $360,000 for this system. They're going to get $203,000 back in year 1, giving them 56% of their capital back in the first year, 64% in year 2, so on and so forth. Somewhere here between year 6 and 7, the project has completely paid for itself, and the customer has free electricity going forward. The great thing about solar, or the unique things about solar, is the return is very much front-loaded. You can see most people who invest, or businesses who invest in solar, get the overwhelming majority of their money back in the early years, and that's what makes solar such a fantastic investment. We have one last slide over here, which is almost identical to the previous slide. It's the exact same cash flow. However, it's got an additional column added in, which is for the USDA grant. This is a competitive grant. We don't guarantee it. That's why we show 2 separate systems, 2 separate cash flows over here. Should the customer get this USDA grant, they're eligible for $90,000 in USDA grant money. That is taxable income, and so we've reflected that over here. You can see it changes the payback slightly over here, and we show both of those in here. So I hope you found this valuable. It was really quick that we went through this. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about solar proposals. If you have a proposal from another company, if you'd like us to review it with you and give you some comments or advice, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We look forward to working with you. Thank you.